everybody, how you doing? It's Max, Chief Evangelist over here at Hapily, and today I'm going to be walking you through our new and improved QR code functionality for tracking attendance to your in-person events, all within HubSpot. Now, this new functionality works out of the box. The second you install it, you've got everything you need to make it happen. And what I want to do is I want to show you the ins and outs of how it actually functions so you kind of understand what everything is and how it all works. I'm going to go ahead and get started here by creating a brand new event. We're going to register someone for the event, and we're going to show you how the QR code gets generated. We're also going to show you how we actually set this up in HubSpot so you know that everything's working. I'm over here on our events page, and I'm creating an in-person event here. I've already filled out most of my information, but one property that's new to Event Hapily 2.0 is on the event record. We have this property called check-in pin. Now, what this check-in pin is going to be is it's going to be just a simple code. So I'm going to make it 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, where someone actually enters this code in is when somebody is actually scanning the QR code for somebody. The very first time they do it, they will be met with a screen that basically says, hey, punch in the check-in code to be able to check this person in. Now, the reason we do this is because we do not want someone to be able to take the QR code, scan it on their own for some reason, and then be marked as attended. So unless you know what the check-in pin is, this won't work for just like any random person that gets the email with the QR code that they then accidentally scan for some ungodly reason, and then all of a sudden your attendance tracking is messed up, right? Now, when one of your actual employees who's checking people in at the event punches this code in the very first time they scan a QR code, their browser on their mobile device will be cookied, which means the next person they go and scan, it'll just check them in. It's not going to make them enter the check-in pin a second, third, fourth, fifth, 100th time, all right? They're only going to have to do it once the very first time they check somebody in, all right? So if you're building an event that you want to have QR code check-in available for, you're just going to want to make sure that you set that check-in pin to something simple. And of course, communicate that to the people who are actually checking folks in at the door. So I'm going to go ahead and create this Hapily event here. And as you can see, we have our event record. Now I've got a couple of workflows running in the background for, whenever we create a new event that's going to automatically create some stuff such as my registration form, my registration page, an in-person check-in page, things like that. So I'm just going to give this a minute to let it run. Now, normally with Event Hapily, you would actually use a full registration page to actually sign someone up for an event. But something I do just for testing is I have this registration form field that gets updated. And then I've got a very simple form here. The reason I'm doing this is I just want to be able to quickly set someone up for an event registration. And I don't really care about all the other extra features and functionality. We just need a registrant to be able to show you how this QR code check-in stuff works. So I'm going to go ahead and register myself. So I've got Max Cohen. Max at hapily.com. I'll go ahead and register. And then if I come back to my event, you can see that my registrant has been created. So I've got a registrant for this specific event. Now, if I just go and click on this registrant, what you will notice on registrant records is there is a property called check-in QR code. All right. This is pointing to an image of a QR code, and that QR code can be inserted into an email that you send to somebody once they register for the event. So I can show you my registration workflow. So if I go to workflows, what we'll see is that I have this new registrant created workflow action. And in this workflow action, it's sending the email with my QR code in it, right? So if we actually, what we should do here is I'm going to actually show you kind of this stuff in the background. So if I go to test QR code email here, this is a very simple template that we drop in that is going to drop the image of the QR code in there. Of course, you can customize this email to make it look however you want. You can build your own emails using registrant properties for the personalization tokens. The beauty of it is since it's all built in HubSpot, again, you can customize this entire experience for people, but we give you these templates just so you have something simple to start with, and then you can kind of iterate on it, build your own, use what you learn about this to kind of do whatever, right? But we give you this email template out of the box so you can then go and customize it, right? Now, there's one other thing that we do too, all right? When you install Event Hapily, there is a website page that automatically gets created, and that's this Event Happily QR code check-in page. This is the page that QR code is going to link to, right? And what you can do here is edit this module to change a couple of things about the page that someone goes to when they actually check somebody in using that QR code, right? So I can have it like show a specific property underneath. I can change the success image, the failure image. So if you want to put your own graphics in there to say, yes, you've checked this person in, or no, this person was already checked in and it didn't work, right? You can do that. This isn't super important because, again, the only people ever seeing these pages are going to be your internal employees scanning people's QR codes to check them in. So don't worry too much about this. All right. But what we're going to do is we are going to go back here and we are going to go find our registrant object that was created when someone registered for this new in-person event. Okay, so I've got Max Cohen. He's the registrant. Great. There's the QR code. So what's going to happen is that email that gets sent to the contact here, which is Max, right, through that registrant-based workflow that gets fired when the new registrant gets created, that's going to send an email that's going to include the QR code here. Okay. And then what that email would look like, again, I haven't customized mine at all, but I'll just go jump into mine and we can see it here. This is the email that I would receive. And in here, you can see this QR code, right? So essentially, someone would present this QR code to the person who's checking people in at the beginning of the event. And then that person would take the phone app on their phone, right? And they would go ahead and scan this QR code. So I'm going to scan the QR code for you in real time here. Okay. And what you're going to see is the check-in pin. I'm not sure how well you can see this on the recorder, right? But what you'll see is the check-in pin. So what they would do in this case is they're going to go ahead and put the event pin code in because it's the very first time they're checking people in on this device. So I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. And then what's going to happen is you are going to see a message here that says you have checked in, and then the full name of the actual person that you're checking in, right? If you have another property showing, in this case, something that's linking out to something, it'll show it down at the bottom, but you could have it show, for example, any sort of registrant property that you had, whether it's like maybe you made a custom property for like their type of pass, or you wanted to have their email on there to confirm it, or whatever it may be, right? But we've checked this person in. Now keep in mind, like, this works out of the box. All right, I didn't have to do anything to configure this page, right? We automatically install it in a published state, and it also just sits on your system domain. It doesn't actually publish to your domain that you have, right? So you don't really have to like worry about if it's like sitting on your website somewhere, right? But I've gone and I've scanned that QR code. Now, what we need to see in HubSpot is that person is actually marked as attended on the event. So I'm going to come back to my registrant. I'm going to give it a quick refresh here. And something that you will see is when you look at the event that this registrant record's associated to, not only do they have the registered for event association label, they also now have this attended event association label as well. So same thing when I go and take a look at the event, I can see my registrant and I can confirm here with that association label that they actually attended the event. That got added when I scanned that QR code, right? And it's literally as easy as that. If you guys have any other questions on how to actually track attendance to your in-person event using HubSpot and Event Happily, let us know in the comments below.